Hi everyone, my name's Abul and welcome back to CRTV, powered by City Realtor. Before we start, I want to remind you that this is a brand new channel, so please remember to like and subscribe. The things I will go through in this video will be accurate to January 2022 and will apply to most of England. However, please do your own due diligence. If you've just bought a property or were lucky enough to be gifted one or just been given responsibility for a property that needs to be rented, this video will give you the basic guidance you need to get that property rented. So let's start with some compulsory certifications. You need to ensure your property has the following 3 valid certificates. Alright, number 1, gas safety certificate. This can only be carried out by a certified engineer that is registered on the Gas Safe Register. You can easily find one on gassaferegister.co.uk. Just enter your postcode and a list of engineers will appear. A gas safe is done to ensure the gas outlets in the property, like the gas cooker, oven and boiler, are safe to use. A gas safety check needs to be done every year. Some properties don't have a gas supply. If that's the case, you don't need a gas safety certificate. Number 2, Electrical Installations Conditions Report, commonly known as an EICR. Only a registered electrician can carry out this report. An EICR gives you the confidence that the electrical system in your property is safe and properly functioning. This certificate can be as short as 1 year and as long as 10 years. It depends on how old the electrical system is and is at the electrician's discretion. Number 3, Energy Performance Certificate, commonly known as the EPC. An EPC is a check done by a specialist and measures how energy efficient a property is. For example, does the property let in a draft? Are the boiler and the radiators old, which means it might take more energy to heat the property? This certificate works on an alphabetical rating from A to G, A being the most efficient and G being the least efficient. And the certificate lasts 10 years. Fun fact, by 2025, the government will require all rental properties to be a C rating or above. This means if your property is not at a C rating yet, you will need to be looking at ways you can bring that rating up. So, all 3 of the aforementioned certificates are mandatory unless your property is gasless. You will likely have an EPC if you have just bought your property. But in any case, all EPCs are held on an online database that anyone can access. The gas safety and the EICRs are not on online registers. So if you don't have them, then you need to be getting them done. When getting the gas safety done, you should also ask the engineer to install a carbon monoxide alarm. And there should be a minimum of 1 smoke alarm in every hallway. Also, while they are there, just get them to check the heating to see if it's all working fine. Next thing is, you need a fire door in the kitchen of all rented properties in the UK. If it's an open plan kitchen living area, then that entire room needs a fire door. It needs to be a minimum of FD30 rating. The 30 indicates that it will give you 30 minutes of fire protection. And that's why there are FD60s and FD90s and so on. There are some other non-compulsory tests that you might want to look at. First being the PAT test, which stands for Portable Appliance Test. Portable appliances are things like toaster, kettle, coffee machine or an iron. This test is optional but advisable and can be avoided altogether if you just don't provide the items. Providing a kettle or a toaster is not really needed unless it's an HMO in my opinion. Another test that is optional is a Legionnaire's test. This is to check the water coming through the taps is safe to drink. Generally speaking, if you're a tenant, I would say always try and run the taps for at least 20 minutes. This should be a practice that you always use when you move into a new flat. Legionnaire's disease is not something that people should worry about generally, but if the property is unoccupied for long periods of time, that's when it could occur. Next is landlord licensing. You must check if your borough requires a landlord license. Landlord licensing came about as a bid to ensure that landlords were fit and proper. The purpose of the landlord license is to prevent and eradicate slum landlords and to ensure landlords are making sure their properties are fit to live in. It's a good concept, but it's very costly to enforce, and even then I don't believe it's always enforced properly. Next, get the property ready for advertising and viewings. If you are using a lettings agency, they will likely take professional photos and create a floor plan. I would always advise getting good quality photos done as well as a floor plan. You can easily find someone online that does this as a service. Staging the property helps to advertise immensely. To stage a property means to make it look presentable with the help of furniture and nice decorations. And again, if you're using an agent, find out whether it's worth furnishing the property. It can depend on which area the property is in or what type of property it is. Certain areas need the properties to be furnished, as it may only attract young professionals or students who are likely to move out again the following year. Whereas other properties may only attract families who may already have their own furniture or want to buy their own. The same goes for white goods, things like a washing machine, cooker, fridge freezer. Next up, referencing. Be sure to reference your tenants through a reputable referencing agency. In my experience, the cheaper ones have never been good. I always recommend doing an enhanced check, which will at minimum do a credit check, affordability check, obtain the last landlord's reference and an employer's reference. A basic check would usually just be a credit check. Next up, I will highly recommend that you appoint a clerk to do the inventory report. This is the best way to cover both yourself as a landlord and your tenant. As a landlord, you will have to pay for this yourself and you can't charge the tenant for it. You could in the past, but since the tenant fee ban that came into play in 2019, you can't anymore. Make sure that you and your tenants both sign an assured short-hold tenancy, commonly known as an AST, so that you are both aware of your obligations. Next up is protecting the deposit. As a landlord, you or your agent will have to protect the deposit within 30 days of receiving it. Be sure to do this in time, otherwise you can be fined. You have a choice of 3 government-approved bodies that you can do this with: TDS, DPS, or My Deposits. Lastly, before the tenant moves in, you must provide them with the following documents: a gas safe if the property has gas, the EICR, the EPC, the How to Rent Guide, which can be found on the gov.uk website, and as soon as the deposit is protected, you must provide them with the deposit protection certificate. And that's it. That's everything to the point of a tenant moving in. The next stage is managing the property during the tenancy, which I will also do a video on very soon. Just before I go, if you have a property in London and you require a lettings agent to find you a good tenant or need assistance in managing your property or portfolio, why not reach out to us and see how we can be of service to you? I'll leave our contact details in the description. See you in the next video.